Listen, there are a few habits that can actually make a person smarter over time. Not the kind of thing where you read one book and suddenly become a genius. No. These are small habits. Simple things. Things that repeat every single day. And here's the interesting part. Many very intelligent people do these things almost automatically. They don't even think about it. Most people do the exact opposite. Let's be honest. How do most people start their day? They wake up. They reach for their phone. Notifications, messages, news, social media. And within seconds, their brain is flooded with information. It's like turning on 10 televisions in the same room and trying to listen to all of them at once. 5 minutes later, your mind is already tired. And the day hasn't even started yet. Many smart people do the opposite. They try not to give away their attention immediately. Instead, they give their brain a little silence. Sometimes they just sit and think. Sometimes they calmly plan their day. Sometimes they start working on one task. Just one. Because the brain works best in a very simple way. One task, clear thinking. 10 tasks, noise. And when your brain isn't constantly switching between things, it can start thinking much deeper. There's another habit you'll notice in intelligent people. They almost never stop learning, even when they don't have to anymore. They're not studying for exams. They're not trying to impress anyone, but they still read. They watch lectures. They listen to podcasts. They explore new ideas. And they do it for one simple reason: curiosity. And the brain loves curiosity. Every new idea is like a small path in your mind. At first, it's barely visible, but if you walk that path again and again, it becomes a road. And over time, those roads connect. That's how the brain links ideas together. Ideas that once seemed completely unrelated. There's another habit, and it may sound a little unusual. Smart people question things, not because they distrust everyone, but because they want to understand what's really happening. They ask simple questions. What might I be missing? Why does this actually work? Could there be another explanation? Most people hear information and immediately form an opinion. Smart people pause for a moment and think. Sometimes that small pause is exactly where new ideas begin. There's something else you'll often notice. Smart people try to spend time with people who know more than they do. And that's rare, because most people enjoy feeling like the smartest person in the room. It feels good for the ego, but it doesn't help you grow. Smart people often do the opposite. They look for rooms where they are the least experienced, where they can ask questions, where they can listen, where they can learn. Because sometimes one good conversation can expand your thinking more than hours of thinking alone. There's also another quiet habit, one that people rarely notice. Smart people observe others. Not in a strange way. They're simply curious about how people think. They notice small details. How someone reacts to certain words. How their mood changes during a conversation. Why they choose one decision instead of another. Over time, those observations start forming patterns, and you begin to understand people much better. And understanding people is one of the most underrated forms of intelligence. And here's the interesting part. If you step back and look at all of this, there's nothing magical about it. No secret techniques, no complicated systems. Nobody wakes up one morning with a brand new superpower. It's simply small habits. Silence for thinking. Curiosity. Questions. Conversations. New ideas. Day after day. And over time, those small habits quietly reshape the way your brain works. Your thinking becomes clearer. Connections between ideas become stronger. And one day, you notice something interesting. You start seeing solutions where you once only saw problems. And the best part is this. None of this requires special talent. You don't need a high IQ. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. These habits can start any day. Even today. Because sometimes the difference between someone who stays stuck and someone who keeps becoming smarter is simply a few small habits they decided not to postpone.